Hi everybody, Sarah Barghigian here. I'm going to be leading you through a short practice today which is going to be predominantly back bending, which means that it's going to be quite an enlivening, energetic practice. Not necessarily difficult, but a practice which I hope will put a bit of spark into, a little bit like a sort of a coffee practice. A good one for you to start the day with, or at any point of the day where you feel like you need to have a little bit of an injection of energy and sharp focus, mental sharp focus. So I want you please to begin straight away in downward facing dog with bent knees. So come to hands and knees at the front of your mat. Make sure that your index fingers are parallel to each other. Tuck your toes under, keeping your knees bent throughout this first down dog. Lift up and press back. Keep pushing your hands towards the front of the mat. And from here, walk your feet forward so that you come into standing forward fold. And again, please feel free to bend your knees here. Push your fingers down. Every time you inhale, raise your chest a little bit away from the floor. And as you exhale, squeeze your knees and perhaps fold a little bit more into Uttanasana, bringing your shoulders up towards the ceiling, onto your back. And then bend your knees, sweep your arms ahead of you, coming up to standing. Press your tailbone down towards the floor as you come down and rise up. Bring your hands together and down in towards your heart. We're going to do 3 slow sun salutations with some variations in them. So from here, inhale, bring your arms up overhead. And as you exhale, fold. Bend your knees and touch the floor. Be strong in your abs. Bring your navel to your spine. Inhale, raise your chest, look forward. And as you exhale, come back into plank. Step your feet back. Again, check that your index fingers are more or less parallel to each other. And get a rounding feeling in your spine. Squeeze your legs. Come into a variation of Chaturanga Dandasana. Bring your knees to the floor, pick up your feet and cross your ankles. Keep the rounding in your spine as you bend your elbows and lower your chest just a little bit. Keep pressing your shoulders towards your knees. Now uncross your ankles, bring your feet down to the floor. Coming into Cobra, bring your thighs down, your pubic bone down and curl up. We're not going to do upward facing dog in our sun salutations. We're going to stick low with Cobra. Now tuck your toes under and go back to downward facing dog. You can push your knees down or do this with straight legs. In this down dog, bring your legs a little straighter than that first one. Squeezing all the muscles around your knees, press your heels down. And let your head hang like a piece of fruit in a tree, like an apple or a mango. On your next inhalation, slightly bend your knees and look forward and walk your feet forward to the top of the mat again, coming back to standing forward fold. Raise your chest first for Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold. And as you exhale, fold to Uttanasana. Now bend your knees, bring your arms ahead of you and come up to standing. Bring your hands together and down in towards your heart. So that's one sun salutation. We're going to do 2 more. Inhale, bring your arms up. And as you exhale, fold. And these 2 are going to be a little bit different. Inhale, raise your chest, look forward. And as you exhale, again, step back into plank. Inhale here, and again, Chaturanga Dandasana, bring your knees to the floor, pick up your feet, cross your ankles the other way, come part way down the push-up and pause. Keep rounding your spine, don't let your pelvis hammock down to the floor. Uncross your feet, bring the tops of your feet down, curl up into Cobra, press your hands back towards your knees. And then again, back to downward facing dog. Pushing your knees down first is easier. Straight legs, a little bit more challenging. When you get here in down dog, bring your feet together. And as you inhale, raise your right leg behind you. Try and keep that right hip pointing down to the floor and your back, your right inner thigh pointing up towards the ceiling. Maybe bring that leg a little higher. And again, let your head hang. Now bring your knee towards your nose, round your back, move your chest forward, and then step your right foot in between your hands. Bring your back knee down, so you're coming into Anjaneyasana. Keep your back toes tucked under, and bring your hands to your hips and raise your chest. Broaden your collarbones so your shoulders are separating from each other on your front body. Raise your heart, squeeze your bottom. Now we're going to come into a twist here. So raise your left arm up and then bring your hand flat down to the floor just inside your right foot. Bring your right arm out to the side and then turn your belly and your chest to the right. As you stay in this twist, pick your back knee up off the floor and straighten that back leg as much as you can. Keep pressing the right buttock in towards your body and towards your back foot. Then look down and touch down and go back to downward facing dog. Arrange your dog. Press your hands forward so you can really stretch the backs of your legs, pressing your heels down. And then again, bring your feet together. We'll do that on the left side. Raise your left leg behind you. Squeeze your bottom like you're trying to press your two sitting bones closer to each other. Maybe bring that back leg a little higher. Now bring your knee towards your nose and round your spine. And step your left foot forward in between your hands as lightly as you can. Bring the back knee down. Again, the back toes stay tucked under. And bring your arms up for Anjaneyasana. Keep moving your right hip point forward as you squeeze your left buttock in and towards your back heel. Raise your heart. Now bring your right hand flat down to the floor, bring your left arm out to the side, and then turn your chest and your belly. Keep pressing the left ribs in. As you stay here for a couple more breaths in this twist, turn your inner right elbow, the inner crease, forward towards the front of the mat so that your shoulder goes down your back towards your back foot. Then pick up your back knee and keep pressing that left buttock in and towards your back heel as you squeeze your back leg really strongly. Be light. And then coming out of the twist, look down, touch down, go back to downward facing dog. Walk your hands back towards your feet. And then bring your hands to your hips, bend your knees, come up to standing, and bring your arms up overhead again. Grab your elbows, and then bring your entire upper body over towards the right. I'm turning towards you, but you keep looking in the direction that you were at before. Inhale, come up, and then side bend to the other side. Keep knitting your lower ribs together, like you're corseting your waist, keeping your abs strong. Come all the way up. Bring your hands down by your side. Inhale, come all the way up. We're going to go back to downward facing dog, but slowly come into a forward fold. And then as you look down the mat, slowly do a cat-like stealth walk, pressing your heels down all the time, coming back into downward facing dog. Do this slowly. The heels of your hands will come down at one point. The heels of your feet will come up, but keep pressing them down. Then on your next inhalation, slightly bend your knees and look forward. And then step your right foot and then your left foot to the top of the mat. When you get here, raise your chest, look forward, keep your fingers on the floor, bend your knees if you need to. And as you exhale, fold. Now bend your knees, bring your arms ahead of you, come up to standing, bring your hands together and down in towards your heart. One more little flow. Inhale, bring your arms up. As you exhale, fold back to Uttanasana, standing forward fold. Inhale, raise your chest, look forward for Ardha Uttanasana. And as you exhale, step back into plank. Inhale here in plank. Exhale for Chaturanga Dandasana. Now if you can do this with straight legs, do. Come part way down. Inhale, curl up into Cobra. Exhale, go back to downward facing dog. Now when you get here, bring your feet together. Inhale, raise your right leg for three-legged dog. And as you exhale, step your foot in between your hands. For Warrior Two, bring your back heel down. Keep your right knee bent. And come all the way up. Warrior Two, Virabhadrasana 2. Straighten your back leg. Take a quick look down at your front foot. Make sure you can see your big toenail so your knee isn't crossing over to the left. Keep the right knee where it is and reverse your warrior. So turn the right palm up, look at your back foot and breathe into your right lung. Come back to Warrior Two. and then come into downward facing dog. Bring your feet together again. Inhale, raise your left leg. As you exhale, step it in between your hands. Again, warrior two, bring your back heel down. Come all the way up. Plant your warrior. Press your feet towards each other. Again, make sure you can see your left big toenail. Reverse your warrior. Come back to warrior two. And then again, downward facing dog. So pick up your back heel, touch down, step back. On your next inhalation, slightly bend your knees and look forward. And step your left foot and then your right foot to the top of the mat. Or just walk your feet forward. Raise your chest, look up. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, bring your arms ahead of you, come all the way up to standing. And then bring your hands down by your sides. Now, step wide. So come into the middle of your mat and step your feet really wide. We're going to do Prasarita Padottanasana. There are two stages to this forward fold. First of all, bring your hands onto your hips and raise your chest. Raise your chin and look up. So you're lengthening the front of your body. And then fold forward and bring your fingertips to the floor. Keep your arms straight. Raise your chest, look forward. This is stage one. Squeeze your legs. Press your feet towards each other. Stage two, walk your hands back. So your fingernails and toenails are in a line and round down. Bring the heels of your hands to the floor if you can. Feel free to keep your knees bent here. And if you can bring the top of your head to the floor, feel free, do that. Bring your shoulders up towards your tailbone and squeeze your legs. Now inhale, come all the way up. Go back to stage one. Bend your knees, bring your hands to your hips and come up to standing. And then heel toe your feet together. Good. Bring your hands into your heart. Step wide again. Now, keep your arms like this. Turn your right toes out. They're going towards the back end of your mat. And then come back into warrior two. If you need to lengthen your stance, move your back foot back a little bit further. Coming into triangle pose, straighten your front leg. Lean forward. Keep pressing your right buttock in. Don't bring your hand too low, but bring your hand onto your shin and then turn into Trikonasana. Keep pressing the right ribs in. Turn your chest a little bit more. Look straight ahead, just look to the side. And then coming up, push down through your back foot, reach up through your top hand, come all the way up. Turn the right toes in, turn the left toes out. I like to make this pose and warrior two as well, heel to heel, as if you were drawing a line. And then bend your left leg, coming back into warrior two. Triangle pose, straighten your front leg, lean forward. Squeeze that front buttock in, that left buttock in and towards your back foot, and keep pressing both of your feet towards each other. Coming out of this pose, push down through your back foot. Inhale, come up. Bring your hands to your hips. Turn your left foot in. And then heel toe your feet together. And come back into a standing pose, into Tadasana, mountain pose. Take a few breaths here. Good. Okay, we're going to do a few more back bends, this time with the belly down. So, just bring your knees down to the floor. So bend your knees, hands down, and come all the way down onto your belly. And bring your hands by the sides of your body. Now squeeze your legs so that your kneecaps come off the floor. And pick your legs up. And press your feet towards each other. Turn your inner knees up towards the ceiling so your little toes come down towards the floor a little bit more. And then coming into a variation of locust pose, bring your arms up, press your hands towards your feet, and then press your little fingers towards each other. Keep squeezing your legs together as much as you can, the little toes going down towards the floor. 3, keep breathing. 2, 1. And then rest for a moment. Bring your legs down. Bring your hands underneath your forehead and bring your forehead onto your hands. We don't often get the opportunity to rest. So when you do, grasp it and rest well.
And all the muscles on the back of your body relax, but keep your eyes open. Now coming to the second belly down back bend. Bend both of your knees, showing the soles of your feet to the ceiling. Bring your hands again long down by the sides of your body. Pick your hands up, turn your thumbs down towards the floor, then pick up your thighs enough so that you can really bend your knees and reach around, grabbing the base of your shins. Stay here, wait a moment. Bring your knees a little closer to each other, bit by bit. And then push your feet towards the back of the room and raise your heart. Bow pose. Turn your biceps up towards the ceiling and press your shoulder blades towards your tailbone. 3, come up a little bit more. 2, 1, a little higher maybe. And then release, and again rest. This time the other hand comes on top. Let your forehead rest on that hand. Release, eyes open. Soften. And then come into downward facing dog. Bring your hands by your waist, push the floor away, and press back. In this down dog, if you want to put a bit more movement into it, feel free to bend one knee, the other leg stays straight, and you let your hip move a little bit out to the side of that straight leg. And then do the same thing on the other side. Get some movement in your hips. Push both of your hands really strong. And then one more time. Bend that first knee. And then the second knee, slightly shorter hold. And then come into normal downward facing dog. Camel pose. Bring your knees to the floor. Bring your hands onto your hips. And tuck your toes under. We're going to do a variation of toes tucked under, camel pose. Bring your hands onto your hips and raise your chest. Bring your elbows more towards each other so you really broaden your collarbones. Now, from here, lean back a little bit, but keep pressing your knees towards each other. Stay here like this as you raise your heart and squeeze your bottom, or perhaps you can bring one hand down and bring the fingertips to the heel and then the other. Then push your pubic bone forwards, away from your feet. Feels a little bit like you're doing bow pose. Keep squeezing your shoulder blades towards each other. Keep pressing your knees towards each other. And raise your chin just a little bit. 3, don't let your head hang back completely. 2, 1. And then bring that first hand onto your hip, the second hand onto your hip, and go back into downward facing dog. So from here, bring your hands down. Pick up your knees and press back. Do this slowly. You press your tailbone away from your head. Lengthen your lower back. Having been in a very deep back bend, this is quite a relief to lengthen it out again. Bring your knees to the floor. We're going to do camel pose again, one last time. Ustrasana. Bring your hands to your hips. Raise your chest. Press your knees towards each other. And then again, you can stay here with your hands on your hips as you lean slightly back, not too much. Raise your heart, press your knees towards each other, or lead with the other hand this time. Reach around with your left hand and bring your fingertips towards your heel. And then the other hand if that's feeling good. Otherwise, just keep your hands on your hips. And again, open your chest, squeeze your knees towards each other. Make a bit of a double chin here as you slide your chin back. Look slightly up. 3, keep pressing your knees towards each other. 2, 1. And again, lead with that first hand. So for me, it was the left. Bring your left hand onto your left hip, then your right hand, and then go back into downward facing dog. Bring your feet together. Raise your right leg behind you. Step your foot in between your hands. Bring your back knee down. Bring both hands onto your front knee and come up. Squeeze the right buttock in. Now keep your right hand on your right leg and bring the left arm up. Then bring the right arm up. Grab your left wrist with your right hand and bend towards the right. See if you can lean that left armpit back a little bit more. Then come back upright and go back to downward facing dog. Bring your feet together, raise your left leg, step your foot in between your hands, bring your back knee down, bring both hands onto that front leg, onto your left leg, push yourself up, squeeze your bottom. Now bring your right arm up, get lots of length in the right side of your body. See if you can nudge that right hip point forward a bit more, then bring your left arm up. Grab your right wrist, inhale into the right side of your body, and as you exhale, lean to the left. And again, lean that right armpit slightly back. Keep looking forwards. And come back to center. Go back to downward facing dog. Bring your knees down to the floor. Sit onto your heels. And then bring your bottom down to the floor. And come into eye of the needle. So we're just going to release the outer hips a little bit before we come into Shavasana. So Sukhi Randrasana, pick up your right leg, make a figure 4. So you're resting the bat of the ankle onto the top of the left thigh. Bring that left leg up, bring your right hand inside the hole that you've made with the right leg and interlace your fingers behind the back of your left thigh. Separate your toes in your right foot. And then see if you can maybe draw your left knee a little closer to your left shoulder and a little bit over to the left. Try and relax the entire left leg, but keep showing the sole of your right foot to the left side of the room. And maybe push the right knee a little further away from you, but do this with ease. If you feel like you're crunching your face up when you do this, then back off a little bit. Now release your hands, bring the left foot to the floor and then the right foot, and we'll do it on the other side. This time, change the interlace of your fingers to the strange feeling side. Relax your shoulders, and again, the entire right leg is relaxed, but this left foot, the foot that you can see, separate the toes, get a bit of spark there. And as you gently and kindly bring your right knee towards your right shoulder, bring that right knee a little more over to the right, and notice what goes on in your left hip when you do that. And again, don't be overly ambitious here. In yoga, there's a term called ahimsa, which means to not harm. So don't harm yourself. You want to be able to do yoga over and over again. So make sure that you do poses like this with deep stretches, with caution and curiosity. Coming out of this pose, release your hands, bring your right foot to the floor and then your left foot. Lengthen your legs down the mat and come into Shavasana. So press your elbows down, tuck your shoulder blades under your body so it feels like the upper back is in a little bit more ease and contact with the ground. Make sure your head is placed in between your shoulders, not over to the left or the right. And the same with your hands and your legs, an equal distance away from the center of your body. Let your entire body rest and relax. Feel free to stay here for another 5 or 10 minutes. I'm going to stay here just for a few more moments and guide you out. So you can press pause, or you can come out with me. If you're coming out now, bend your knees one leg at a time and roll onto your right side. Rest your head in your upper right arm, and again let your entire body relax. Notice how the energy is moving around your body now, in particular your hips and your shoulders. Now press your left hand down and then your right, bringing yourself up into a seated position, sitting cross-legged with whichever leg you want in front. Bring your hands onto your knees. Sit tall, relax your shoulders, and then bring your hands into your heart. Lower your chin so it touches your fingertips. Release your hands and bring them onto your legs. Gently press down as you then raise your chin and open your eyes. Namaste.